Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Maybe It's Me. I'm recording this on the second, so you know what that means. Happy Labor Day, whores. I hope you all are having fun or getting rest if needed. Do you grill for Labor Day? Like, what do you actually do? I know what the gays do, and I just want to say if you went out, you're going to hell. Uh, this week was, I'd definitely say it was funny. My plan for this upcoming week was to upload an episode for my YouTube channel, which is still in the works. Still, for some reason, I was just compelled against putting forth the effort. Even with the podcast, topics are there for me to discuss, but I wasn't compelled to speak for some reason. Maybe it's because of this moment here. I really try to refrain from talking about things that are happening currently in my life, not because I don't want to, but because I have respect for myself and a slight inkling for those that do weird ass shit. When you start to let people slide, other people spectate and begin to get so excited, jumping out their drawers, that they can oil their body up, put on goggles, and get their ditzy ass amped to prepare for their turn. The problem with that, especially regarding me, is that I don't treat everyone the same when it comes to disrespect. And if you use that logic with me, yeah, like a magician, I'll always have something up my sleeve for that ass. Today's episode is about boundaries. I want to give special thanks to this person whom I discuss that made me conclude on this topic. Before we really get into it, let's define boundaries, right? A boundary is a line that marks the limit of an area. The word boundary is a little foreign to me, being an almost retired people pleaser. Throughout my childhood, I've let people I've loved disrespect and cross my boundaries and disregarded the urge to speak because I often excused the behavior. Maybe because I was exposed to it from an early age, I considered it normal to have your boundaries crossed, or perhaps because I was often punished for speaking up for myself. That's up for the therapist to find out. Not to sound holier than thou, because sometimes people do not know they crossed the boundary until you speak and tell them. I only say sometimes because the other half, people know exactly what they're doing. They just don't expect for you to call them out on it. Emotional boundaries are based on the premise that an individual's emotion are their responsibility and that their emotional well being is within their control, regardless of what might happen to another person. Honestly, I feel that you should know how to treat everyone with respect, no matter their path of life. I feel like that should be common sense, but I forget that is not so common. Emotional boundaries help us avoid things such as manipulation and disrespect. Every person who's disrespected me has been a weirdo. I put this on God, my life, my mother's, my grandmother's, fuck it, my whole family lineage. That's how serious I am. Let's talking about an example. Hey! Okay, you know the guy I've told you that helped formulate the conversation of my last episode, right? Thank God that never happened because I probably would have taken that episode the fuck down. I wish I was joking. To give some insight on the guy, he's the same age as me, graduated from an HBCU with a psychology degree, and is a Virgo. To fucking highlight my hypothesis, his favorite artist and podcaster is Little Yachty. I wish I made this up. Every guy I know whose favorite artist is Lil Yachty, is fucking odd. And after this, every Virgo and Lil Yachty fan can get the fuck out my face and go to hell. So, I'll be nothing but honest. And if he feels that I'm lying, he can tell the truth. But I don't think he would since. I known him for a year, but have not talked to him until 3 months ago. He's timid and laid back, and I learned that he listens and observes more than he speaks. Throughout these 3 months, we've talked about anything: our childhood, favorite movies, favorite shows and artists, dream locations, our parents, our exes, our hobbies, interests and dislikes, school, the whole 9 yards. Might I add, I even have this man birth chart. So, with these conversations, I came to the conclusion that I kind of know him and I started to have a liking towards him. With that, I started to become foolish. I would go out of my way to talk to him, make little remarks about my interest in him, and even joke that we should go somewhere together, like a basketball game, since he loves sports. One specific time, he asked me to buy him a football ticket, and I replied that if I buy him one, I'm also buying myself one. He eventually realized that I was implying that we would be going together. He shot down the idea, saying that hanging out together would be, and didn't finish his sentence while laughing. Another time, he mentioned that his birthday was coming up and asked what I would get him, and he didn't care if I didn't get him anything, to which he said a lot. If he expressed genuine interest or seemed out of character, he would quickly say he didn't care to, I guess, compensate for the little crack in his mask. Throughout the months of beating around the bush, I felt like I was in a very calculated game of chess. So, I asked for his number. I asked him for his number and he replied 911. When I tell you that's the worst way I've ever got shot down, I felt the shot in my chest as I tried to recover. He later told me that day that he only said it because he didn't expect me to ask him that, and I caught him off guard by emphasizing that he doesn't give his number to people he works with. I respected it. What I don't get is that after joking about me asking for his number, I eventually said fuck him and that number. He replied saying, "Damn, is fuck me? That's kind of weird. I was just gonna give you my number, but okay." This whole ordeal felt like a cat and mouse game, and I'm driving myself insane. After the number situation, I decided to distance myself, but we eventually talked to each other again. During this conversation, I was stuck on the little comments Mr. HBCU made that I now realize have been a constant theme. He would often call me weak and having no backbone, and said that my ex probably physically abused me as a joke. I realize more and more that when a joke is expressed more than once, it's no longer a joke. That's actually how that person perceives you. Mr. HBCU, you may have a psychology degree, but I think you slipped up in ways that degree couldn't help you. Fucking was. So, I realized that he was a bit misogynistic during another conversation, calling sex workers hoes, even women who do OnlyFans. His logic was, why should I respect someone who doesn't respect themselves? Even after clarifying that he doesn't know these women, you have no right to disrespect them. Everyone deserves respect. He disagreed. HBCU man, by the way. Time passed and he was leaving, thus bringing up the idea that he wanted my Instagram for us to connect after he was gone. He also stated that I should just go ahead and say whatever I want to say to him because he iterated that nothing surprises him. I tell him that he already knows, and he declines, saying he doesn't make assumptions. I should stop being pussy and say it. I'm nervous and I don't feel comfortable speaking up regarding my feelings, so I reply with, I guess I'll just be pussy. He concludes with, alright, closed mouths don't get fed. If I'm lying, may God kill me. I give full consent and permission. I told him he made me nervous, so I didn't know what to say. I brought up the idea again, foolishly, of having his number, to which he agreed to provide me with. He told me that he was going to this game that happened this past weekend and getting drunk. We tested those days, which ultimately ended on the weekend when he was ghosting me. I'm already knowing. I already know. I'm already knowing. I tested him again and he told me that I didn't know how to just vibe, which would be my downfall. I'm confused by that statement because do I look like I just vibe? Before I just vibe, I'll crash out. He ghosts me for the rest of the time, and I eventually find out that he went to the game with his old lady. Mr. HBCU has a girlfriend. He never told me, only mentioned his exes. Oh my god. I'm dumb and gagged. I texted him saying that when he has time, could we talk so I can go ahead and cut it dry and let it be whatever it's going to be. I realized there's no point in having a conversation, stupid. He has a girlfriend. He texts back saying about what, to which I say, never mind, you're good. This man says, what made you realize we're just gonna be friends? Like, huh? Nigga, what? Oh, you assume when you want to. I eventually concluded that I put two and two together, and he says I'm speaking in code, to which I talk about the feelings I had. Dumbass. He says he doesn't like men and that we could still be friends, which didn't make me feel anyway, but he sent a second message. The second message says, and I quote, have better discernment with men. Like, why do you go after straight men? Is that like a kink or something to turn niggas out? Or did I come off as gay? Genuine question. Mouth dropped. Face slap. Internally gagged. That's probably number two on the most trifling messages I've been sent in my 22 years of living. The first one is by a guy who's liked me for more than half a decade, by the way, saying that I'm overly sensitive and that's why nobody wants to be around me. He will continue to prosper while I reap what I sow. I just want to highlight the only thing I was going through at the time, which was a breakup with a man I should have already broken up with, and high school friends with whom I was bound to fall off. Like, what the fuck? Weirdos. Anywho, he eventually says that this is the second time I have pursued a straight guy who doesn't come off as interested in men. So he was just wondering. I took the whole day yesterday reevaluating myself like, damn, am I going out of my way to like straight men? I had to laugh because every guy I've wanted has liked it men, not making them straight. I also realized the other dude he's mentioning pillow talks like fuck and is only mad at me for speaking on him to people, which is hypocritical when he's doing it a whole year later. What the fuck? But I don't blame Mr. HBCU because nobody truly knows my entire truth, and I don't particularly appreciate putting guys out there that I was interested in at a point. I did it before, and looking back, it doesn't make me feel like this top notch gay at all. I just cringe. But what I will hold you accountable for, Mr. HBCU, sir, is being emotionally manipulative, knowing that I like you, toying with me for your own personal gain, whether it's an ego boost, an experiment, or maybe you liked it. You can say you didn't know all day, but you're not dumb. Let's be so for real. Your ass deflected from the situation with the kink comment and putting the blame on me, which sounds so familiar by the way, thinking that I was going to take it and deal with it. Do you guys know that he had the nerve to still ask if I wanted to be friends with him after he said that? Why would I want to be friends with someone who says some disrespectful shit like that? You just let me know what you think of me, crazy man. What the fuck? You knew you were sending mixed signals to me. Whenever you were blatantly rude, you would reason it with, that's just how I act with someone I consider close to me in a way. Whenever I felt affected by your rude regards, you would tell me to toughen up like I needed your fucking help. This man told me I look like I get disrespected by men. That's the funniest thing ever. I only get disrespected when I allow the bullshit. I only get disrespected by fragile men at that. Throughout yesterday, I blamed myself a little for not paying attention to the signs, but I don't believe it's my fault. I can admit that he put that psychology degree to use. Still, I think he should put it in more productive ways that could benefit him rather than a gay man that he says he has no interest in. If I had stood firm on my boundaries and how I expected to be treated, this ditzy ass man wouldn't have played as much as he played. I take all my lessons to the chin and carry them as information to the nets. Thank God for the people I have in life. I thank him for who I am, and honestly am thankful that I'm fucking off today. I realize men can be men. It doesn't matter the background, if they have a two-parent household or education. They have the potential to share that same weird gene. I actually want to know what makes them act like that. Thank you guys so much for coming to my TED Talk, and thank you for making this episode what it was. I hope you enjoy your Labor Day week. I'll see you again soon. If you're a Virgo, stay the fuck away from me. For real. Bye.